Coming up on NBA Today, the Wolves win. How did they claw their way back to the conference finals for the second straight year? And a bold mini prediction out of our guy UD. Plus, we go live to the Mile High City for a winner stay-home showdown. Who will be the difference tonight, SGA or Jokic? And they're alive. Celtic pride is on display. You saw it last night, an inside look at how Boston beat down the Knicks. Can the C's actually pull this off? We debate next on NBA Today. First of all, though, we will start with Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves back in the West Finals. Let's take a look at how they got it done in the second quarter. Ant-Man, long distance right there. Yep.
You know, it's someone that goes in and hit that back rim, he's feeling it.
Now he finds Julius. He's like, hey, man, I can do that too.
And Julius been shooting that ball at a high clip. That's why the Minnesota Timberwolves are able to keep Rudy and Julius Randle on the floor together offensively.
Draymond misses the leak out by Randle. Good pass by McDaniels with the finish, the hoop in the horn.
Got a smooth game, don't he?
Look at those numbers by Randle.
Got a strong game.
Bernard Kingish.
Third quarter, Wolves, excellent ball movement here. One more to Ant, steps into one.
Watch that one, Noah. Yeah. Mike Conley plays some outstanding basketball. That swing, get the defense moving. That's what you had to do against the Golden State Warriors.
Look how they attack the rim here, though, Perk. Look at these numbers right here. 31 layups or dunks.
Well, that's one thing the Warriors need to do is get some kind of size. They ain't had no real size since Bogut left.
Well, let's talk about the size of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hell, you talking about Rudy and McDaniels, they both can stand straight up and scratch their ankle.
And that dude right there give you a little sauce, too.
That's pretty.
Yeah. Seems like he got a little wiggle in this game.
He's having so much fun, ain't he?
Randle with 29. Warriors season ends. Wolves win. Let's take a listen to Anthony Edwards in the postgame.
The most together team and the most mature team is a team that wins around this time. It's not about who get 30 points, who get the most shots, who get all the blame for winning the game, and it's not about none of that. It's about coming together as a team. Can we defend at a high level, and can we limit the other team to one shot? It doesn't really matter about offense. As long as we get good shots, and it don't matter who shoot it. So we did that tonight.
The challenge we laid down to our guys from day one was quite simple. It was one question. You know, were you a Western Conference Finals team, or were you a team that just happened to make the Western Conference Finals? And there's only one way to prove that. Go out and do it again. And that was our mission all year.
Well, and they answered that. The Timberwolves have now made back-to-back West Finals for the first time in their 34-year franchise history. They're now also 4 wins away from their first NBA Finals appearance in team history. All right, welcome in. I'm George Sedano in for Malika Andrews, joined by the Hall of Famer Mark Spears and 2 NBA champions, my man Kendrick Perkins, and home team over there, Udonis Haslem, here with us as well, out in New York. All right, so Minnesota took up that challenge from Coach Finch. They're back in the West Finals. UD, we'll start with you. What did they show you in this series?
They showed me that they my favorite to win it all. You know, why can't they go for it all last year? Dallas caught lightning in the bottle at a number 5 seed. Why can't they do it this year with a number 6 seed? They have a superstar. They made a move that's working out for them. They have lengthy defenders on the wing. They have toughness with Julius Randle. They have a rim protector with Rudy Gobert. And let's just say one thing about Rudy Gobert. We're going to have to give him his flowers because there was times where you couldn't play Rudy Gobert in playoff series. He figured out a way to stay on the floor in his first series against the Lakers. He's figured out a way to stay on the floor in this series. They have the former 6th man of the year in Nas Reed, so they can go small if they need to. This team literally has everything they want. The domination that they had over the Golden State Warriors, I didn't think with Steph being out, I didn't think that it would be dominated like that. But what I did know that they would win that series. So I think this team has it all, and they're my favorite to win it all. And I'll just say another thing. The team that has won 6 out of the last championships has been the team that sent Jimmy Butler home.
Okay, look at that stat. Who needs stats and info group here? You got UD's info, okay? Now, Perk, Chris Finch earlier in this series challenged Anthony Edwards, right? In regards to his leadership, saying he needed to be the spark, the tone setter of this team. What did Anthony Edwards show you?
Well, guess what? He didn't run from the challenge. He actually accepted the challenge, as he's been accepting challenges for the last 2 seasons.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Who has he sent home?
The Kingslayer.
He's been sending home everybody. Look at this list. KD, Booker.
Check.
Bill.
Check.
Jokic.
Check.
Murray.
Check.
Braun.
Check.
Luka.
Check.
Steph.
Check. Sort of.
Steph,
Sort of.
I ain't no sort of. He's part of the squad.
Sort of.
Butler, Draymond.
Check.
Bam.
Who's next? I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Hey, they hear them footsteps around the league of Anthony Edwards. They hear him because he coming. Who's next? Is it SGA again? Is it SGA who's going to win the MVP? Is it Jokic? Anthony Edwards is not satisfied. He been there before. This is old news. Old news being in the conference finals. That man trying to go win something. He's trying to go win a championship. And everyone keeps saying, oh, Anthony Edwards, he need to elevate his game more and he need to level up some more. Man, the man is playing some outstanding basketball as a floor general. Can we talk about how he's transitioned himself from just being a two-guard scorer, right, to all of a sudden being basically the point guard.
Right.
He's seen every defense. The Lakers under 2-3 zone. They trapped him. They put Braun on him. They put Vanderbilt on him. All of a sudden, we saw 1-3-1 zone out of the Golden State Warriors. They trapped him. Pajimski. They tried everybody. He made the right play, right decision, empowering his teammates. Julius Randle playing with confidence. Rudy Gobert playing with an edge. All of these guys are doing it at a high level, and it's because of Anthony Edwards. This man is on a damn mission right now.
You mentioned Julius Randle. Let's take a look at Julius Randle, who has increased his regular season scoring average by over 5 points per game in the playoffs, as you can see here. You know, earlier this season, Julius Randle didn't feel like a perfect fit necessarily. Mark, what changed?
What changed was during that time, injury time off. He had about most of February, the All-Star break. And you got to remember, when he got traded there, it was right before camp. His wife was pregnant. Kid was about to start school. On and off the court, it was a struggle. But when he was able to sit and watch and figure out the Wolves, when he came back late February, this is what you're getting now. This is the Jaylen Brown of this year. This is the Scottie Pippen of the Timberwolves. This is somebody that could challenge Edwards, dare I say, for Finals MVP. 24, as you said. He's also playing on the defensive end. LeBron was 10 of 27 shooting. Jimmy Butler missed 10, 11 shots against him. He's playing on both ends of the floor. You can see it in his actions. He's been incredible. Julius Randle is it. He's there. He's that guy. He's basically the Batman to Robin that the Warriors was talking about. Now the Timberwolves have that for sure.
All right, let's talk about the Warriors here now. The Warriors are having their exit interviews as we speak. Here's Steph moments ago.
Everything was kind of aligned for Game 6. I had some testing to do, and who knows how that would have went because I hadn't gone live since Game 1. And first time dealing with this injury, I was pretty optimistic, but there were a couple more check points to get through. But all we wanted was a chance and to finish the year like we did, and to sneak in the playoffs, win that first round. Like, there's a lot to be proud of, for sure, considering where we were, but definitely disappointed and frankly just sad that I wasn't out there able to play. So we'll imagine and believe that we could have won everything, had we been healthy, but you move on.
All right, UD, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to ask you the question everyone is asking today. How far would this Warriors team have gone if Steph was healthy?
Same results. Nothing would have been different. I think they probably go to 6 or 7 games, maybe. Steph was definitely balling before he got hurt. I think 13 points in that first quarter. But I don't think you could expect a Steph to go for 40 or 50 all 6 or 7 of those games. So I think you have the same results if Steph plays in that game. They need a center. They need more scoring. They just need a couple different things. But it's the same result for me. I think they definitely go out in 6 or 7. Like Per said, man, Anthony Edwards is on a mission, man. Them boys ain't slowing down, man. And they got one goal in mind, and that's the championship.
Perk, let me ask you this. I thought UD brought up a good point about the center, something you know a lot about playing that position. This league has gotten bigger and more dynamic at those positions. Is he right? What do you think about the Warriors at that position?
No, they definitely need a center, but Draymond Green, and since we're in Cali, Where you at, homie? Where you at, homie? Like, I'm just being real here. We talk about since Steph went out game 2, one could argue that he was trying to get ejected. Game 3, he gave him absolutely nothing. Game 4, absolutely nothing. Game 5, absolutely nothing. And I don't expect Draymond to go out there and get 15 to 20 points. That's not what he do.
Right.
Steve Kerr said that Draymond is the best defender he's ever seen. Steve Kerr played with Dennis Rodman. Julius Randle shot over 50% when Draymond Green was guarding him. We know Draymond Green to impact, show emotions, anchor that defense, bring this team's life, spirit, tenacity. He did none of that. Julius, in all due respect to Julius Randle because he's balling, he wouldn't have put up them type of numbers or had that impact on no damn Dennis Rodman. Is you crazy? I don't care if Jordan wasn't playing. My thing is that Draymond finished second in the NBA in Defensive Player of the Year votes, okay? And you didn't show up when your team needed you the most. It was times I was looking, I was like, he don't even want to be out there. And that's a damn shame.
Well, I'm going to go
I got to back you up. I got to back you up, Perk.
Okay.
When you're right, you're right, Perk. And I got to give you that. When you're right, you are 1,000% right. And what I would say about Draymond is, as great of a defender that he is, he got his ass handed to him in this series. he got his ass handed to him. 29, 31, 24, 18. You got to be the enforcer. You got to be the stopper. So, definitely Randle got the best of him in this series.
When I look at the Warriors team, even if Steph came back, Jimmy not being Jimmy ever since he fell, I think would have been to their detriment anyway. I've seen playoff Jimmy, UD, seen him, Perks played against him. What we saw in this series was not Jimmy, man.
I will say this, Jimmy has struggled in some elimination games in the playoffs recently.
He didn't have no lift. He didn't have any bounce. He wasn't himself. You could just see it. He didn't finish well. Obviously, the length bothered him. Maybe this wasn't a good matchup for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Look how he's running right there, man.
No, he's not himself, for sure.
If he can't beat Jimmy, it would have been too tough to beat that good of a Wolves team.
But that's the effect of Steph Curry, the greatness of Steph Curry, right? Because now all of a sudden Jay McDaniel goes to Steph Curry and not Jimmy get the smaller defender. He don't get Jay McDaniel.
Get Dante DiVincenzo or someone like that. Right. All right, we'll hear more from Steph Curry a little later in the show, but it's a big day when Big Perk breaks out the business box, okay?
What is that?
It's coming. What did he see in last night's Boston blowout that's got him so fired up? Keep it locked to find out. Plus, Big Money Poppin' Marks is stopping by to walk us through the Warriors offseason options. How do they improve? And what's on the table for Jonathan Kuminga? That's next on NBA Today. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks had a chance to close out the Celtics in Game 5, and Jaylen Brown wasn't having any of it. Here's Brown early in this one, Perk, finding Derek White.
Came out, hey, look, great players are able to get theirs and make guys around them better. He draw 3 right there. Derek White, he had the hot hand, drive and kick, simple basketball right there. Not doing too much. Little slip out of the screen, pick and pop. JB was excellent at the point forward position, especially in that first half to set the tone.
3 of 3 from three-point land, 14 points in the first quarter for Derek White. Here's another one he steps into.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
No doubt. Rudy Tomjanovich, shout out.
Sam Cassell texted me that last night.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Now, here's the unsung hero, Luke Cornett, Perk, doing big man things.
Yep. Outplayed Karl Anthony Towns, I tell you that much. Just playing with passion. But I love Luke Cornett. I loved him when the Celtics first got him. He's just a guy that does everything, underrated, played with tenacity, played with an edge, barking. He was barking out there.
And then, Perk, watch this. They're going to reward the big fella right here. Hey, reverse dunk.
The game is so simple, man. It's so simple for a big. They'll star in your role.
All right, let's hear from Jaylen Brown after the game.
I appreciate the fans that showed up tonight. It was a great atmosphere. It was loud, and I know it's easy to kind of write things off. Obviously unfortunate what happened at JT, but we still got basketball to be played. I believe in this group, so don't count us out just yet.
Our back's against the wall. We understand that it's just going to get more difficult, and I think they're thinking we got to play better, and they'll make adjustments, and we got to make adjustments back. So, I mean, this is the NBA playoffs, and you wouldn't expect anything different.
After winning Game 5, the Celtics improved to 10-2 this season in games without Jason Tatum, including both the regular season and the playoffs now. That equates to a 68-win pace over 82 games. So, Perk, who stood on business?
This my camera.
That's going to be your camera.
Standing on business. John, you better stand on business. Stand on business. Hell yeah, we standing on business today. Standing on business. Hello, world. No, it's not Boris Chestnut. It's Boy Big Perk. Hey, listen. The Celtics went out there and they won in great fashion. Damn it, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, they balled. Peyton Pritchard came up big. But you know who stood on business? The big fella in the middle. Not Kristaps Porzingis, but Luke Cornett. 7 blocks, outplaying Karl Anthony Towns, anchoring that defense. I thought I was watching Victor Wembanyama yesterday, the way he was anchoring that defense. Getting out, listen, on the perimeter blocking shots, covering space. I'm like, oh, this big fella is feeling it. And look, he joined elite company.
Wait, who's that?
You got Robert Williams III with 9 in 2021. Luke Cornett last night. Robert Parrish, one of the all-time greats. And you got this handsome young man right here, Kendrick Perkins in 2009 in the postseason. And the film don't lie. Matter of fact, this was against the Bulls, one of the best playoff series ever in the history of the game. It went 7 games, and look at the big fella. This the no beard Perk right here, shining like new money. The little reverse layup. Here we go. Snatching the screws out the rim. 4-3 in the building. Hey, look. I know the Boston fans been pissed off at me, but if you're watching, that was a reminder of what the big fella, Big Perk, did. But Luke Cornett, boy, you stood on business last night.
Perk, you're the only one in that graphic that wasn't smiling, man. You got a beautiful smile, man. The Celtics have been at their best with their backs against the wall, going 9-2 in their last 11 when facing eliminations over the last 4 postseasons. No other team has more than 4 such wins in that span of time. All right, now joining us here on NBA Today, the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, our senior writer who has been covering this series, Brian Windhorst. Windy, you were at TD Garden last night. Has momentum swung in this series as we head to Game 6?
I can't go far as saying that. I got to see some more. But I do think one of the things that happened last night was Boston had an advantage. And I know that sounds odd, but the Knicks had gotten used to a certain way that they played against the Celtics. They had played them 8 times. And the way Boston played yesterday was very different. Jaylen Brown played a point forward role that we really hadn't seen him play before. That's how he ended up with 12 assists. He'd never had that many assists in a game in his career. He was distributing the ball. There was a lot more player and ball movement than the Celtics usually have because Jason Tatum runs so many ISOs in a regular game. There was great 3-point shooting. And then, of course, you had Luke Cornett. They did not game plan for Luke Cornett to play almost the entire second half. And the big difference there, guys, was that when the Celtics went to their bench, they had Kristaps Porzingis. And he was, frankly, and I know he's under the weather, he was getting dominated by Mitchell Robinson. What was happening was Mitchell Robinson was owning the minutes when he was in the game. With Luke Cornett, who was at 100%, the entire thing changed. He was a difference maker, and that was also not part of the Knicks' game plan. So the Knicks get this day today to retrofit and learn how the new Boston Celtics are going to operate.
Yeah, but their fans also have to stew and worry about all the things that have happened in the past, including the Celtics being right at home at MSG over the last quarter century. They're 38-18 at the Garden. And, man, that's better than their home record over the last 25 years. All right, let's bring in the rest of our panel. So, Mark, what are the chances that the Celtics become the 14th team to come back down 3-1?
Got a message for the Knicks. What they say in Mortal Kombat? Finish them.
Yeah.
Finish them.
Yeah.
Need to finish them because you don't want to go back to the Garden. You know, Oracle was the toughest place. Oracle's dead. Boston, the parquet, the banners. They're 22-6 all time in Game 7s. You know, the Leprechaun's going to show up and sit on the rim. You don't want to go back there. The fans show up 30 minutes before in games like that. It's an intimidating place. Finish them in New York or you're in trouble.
You going back to the crib. Jason Tatum is out. The New York Knicks have the better duo right now with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has to be better defensively, right? They were trying to search him out. Karl Anthony Towns, stop out. This is an opportunity for you to become a Knick. Like, officially become a Knick, right? Go impose your will, bro. No more Luke Cornett outplaying you. Like, no more pouting. None of those dumbass fouls you picking up. Sprint your ass up and down the damn floor. Play with some damn energy and some damn heart, right? You're going home. You're an emotional guy. That building is going to be rocking. I expect him to feed off emotions. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Take them home in Game 6.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Yeah, so I think a big thing that the Celtics are saying as they come out having lost Jason Tatum, they're really leaning into defense. I know that's not what ended up happening last night because they had a hot shooting night. The Celtics know their only way forward through this series is to defend. And we can run all the offensive numbers, but really what happened last night, Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble, Karl Towns was in foul trouble, and they shot 35% as a team. The Knicks can get some better offense at home. They should be in good position to have a chance to take the series.
All right. Golden State season is over, but it wasn't all doom and gloom this season. Let's go in the bonus here. The Warriors were under 500 and tied for the 10th spot in the West before Jimmy Butler debuted with the Golden State Warriors on February 8th. From there, the Warriors ripped off a 23-8 run to end the season. That was the third best record in the entire league, behind only OKC and Boston. Golden State was so good down the stretch that thanks to an elite defense, the Warriors led the league in defensive efficiency after Butler debuted. They ranked 10th in the category before the trade. And during the regular season, the Warriors were excellent when Butler played with Curry on the bench. But the playoffs were a different story as the Warriors were outscored by 67 points in 212 minutes that Jimmy played without Steph. Speaking of which, here's Steph talking about his final chapter.
Hopefully the next chapter is as great, but this one, I'm trying to get every, bit of fun and experience and, squeeze as much juice out of this as possible. So it's weird to, even you get it from your teammates even. Like, I remember watching you in such and such game when I was 7. Like, it's, none of that stuff it is weird. This last chapter of my career, getting everything I can out of it.
Feel very confident, very strongly that we can still make another run or two at the ultimate prize, but we definitely have to get better.
Shout out to our production staff bringing that in literally moments ago as those two just spoke. So now joining us live from the Draft Combine in Chicago, our front office insider, Bobby Marks. So Bobby, what are Golden State's 3 priorities as they head to the offseason?
I think the first one, George, is keeping that Stephen Curry window to compete for a championship open. We saw GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. at the trade deadline go out and trade for Jimmy Butler. Remember, Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green are under contract for the next 2 years. So there is a 2-year window for them to try to win another championship. The second thing, and this is the most important, is the restricted free agency of Jonathan Kuminga. As far as what direction they go with Kuminga, they're going to send a qualifying offer in the offseason. He'll be a restricted free agent. The ability to sign him, do they see him as a tradable asset? What happens with Kuminga will determine how much flexibility they have in the offseason. And then the third, I think the playoffs showed the need for a consistent third scorer and certainly front court help. The Kuminga contract will determine as far as what flexibility they have. Will they have that non-tax mid-level exception here? But these are the 3 priorities for Golden State going into the offseason.
All right, Bobby. Now, let's get UD and Perk back in the discussion here. So, Father Time's undefeated, Perk, okay? So, this Warriors team ain't getting any younger with Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph. How optimistic are you that they can make another push for a title next season?
Well, I mean, look, the league is getting younger, right? I mean, anytime you have Steph Curry, you got to keep that window open. But I think they missing a big right now.
Yeah,
they need a guy that's gonna go out there and get you 15 and 12, average 15 and 12 a night. Hell, think about all the teams that are still playing right now. The Knicks, they got Karl Anthony Towns. Indiana, Miles Turner. Obviously, Denver, you got Jokic OKC, you got Hartenstein and you got Chet Holmgren. You got to go get you somebody in the middle, not just defensively, a dynamic roller. When was the last time Steph played with a lob threat?
Oh, man, you'd have to go way back. I mean, if you think about it. UD, what do you think of the situation? You brought up a center. They were linked to a Nick Vucevic during the trade deadline. That did not come to fruition. But what do you think they need?
Like Aretha Franklin say, ain't no way. Ain't no way Steph get back to another championship no time soon in these 2 years. I mean, the West is getting better. These young boys is getting more and more confident. I mean, you look at it, Steph and Jimmy, they unlock one another, but the center position. And also Jonathan Kuminga. They need a long, athletic, lengthy scoring wing that can get it done on the wing and just take some of that pressure off Steph and off Jimmy. They have the coach. They have the championship pedigree. They just need the pieces. The center position, they ain't had a center since Andrew Bogut. So, I mean, you definitely need a guy that's going to go in down there, bang a little bit, and also give you that vertical spacing where you get a couple lobs, and once you get a couple lobs, that opens up Pozinski, that opens up Moses Moody, that opens up that opens up Buddy. So you need those guys to help those other guys get open.
Bobby, how much wiggle room does Golden State have this offseason to make any moves?
Well, it depends on, I said, is that Kuminga contract as far as what he comes in at. I think the two things, and I agree with UD and Perk here, I think the one name to keep an eye on regarding that center position is Brook Lopez. Ooh. Stanford grad, makes his home in Fresno. What is the number on a Brook Lopez type contract if you can get him on a 1-year flyer here to patch up that center position? Because the center market is thin. When you look at Miles Turner, you're probably not going to afford to him. The next best guy out there is Brook Lopez. And the other thing is they've got 4 first-round picks that they can go out and be aggressive. The challenge now comes with cobbling together enough salary to go out and make a type of trade to get as you said, a Vucevic type player.
Yeah, but I still, Bobby, I don't think that moves the needle, right? Brook Lopez still loves to hang out on the perimeter. He has never been an excellent rebounder. I think he averaged 5 for his career. You need a Daniel Gafford, right? You need a guy that, like, that type of athleticism. I wonder what his ticket look like, right? Like, I would, yeah. I don't want to be expensive, fellas, but you need a young fella like.
Well, here's the thing, Perk. It's almost like you're going to have to trade. Would you trade scoring and for Buddy Hield for a center and Daniel Gafford?
Hell yeah!
Right? That's kind of like the thinking that you have to think about.
All right, Bobby. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of the combine. Thank you for stopping by. All right, let's take a look at today's electric moment brought to you by Hyundai.
Hartenstein screen, Shea, jumped out by Brown. Gildas Alexander, 5 to shoot. Angle left fires a 3 that's online. Got it! Tatinga Thunder by 6. Oh, baby!
Herc, what did that man just say? What a call from the great Matt Pinto there. Doesn't get any more electric than that.
Gonna get more electric than that building. That arena be rock.
All right, let's welcome in our reporter, Tim McMahon, who's in Denver covering this series. You know, maybe he heard that Matt Pinto on the way back from the arena when he was listening to the highlights. But, Tim, you just got back from shoot-around. What's OKC's mindset heading into a potential clinching game tonight?
Howdy, George. I think you go back to when they were down 2-1, when they lost Game 3 here. We talked to Alex Caruso the next day. He said, I just know that the Denver Nuggets, this proven championship team, is the challenge that's going to bring the greatness out of this group, this young team that won 68 games. They responded to that challenge down 2-1, were able to win the next couple games. They've proven they can handle adversity. They know this is going to be the biggest challenge yet. You're trying to close out Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, the Denver Nuggets on their home court. And look, this isn't a Thunder team that gets real up, real down. Very focused, very mature. They know exactly what kind of challenge they have ahead of them tonight here in Denver.
To your point, Tim, their head coach Mark Daigneault likes to say that after games, they like to get back to a neutral state of mind. So to your point, not too high, not too low. Don't matter about dwelling about the past, good or bad, doesn't matter. Now, OKC hasn't played in a lot of these tight games this season, clutch games this season. They've only played in 24 in the regular season. They've played 3 in this series alone. They won that last one, or last couple now, actually, so 2 in a row. What do they have? What have they seen from SGA, particularly in those tight games the last couple of times out?
Yeah, do you remember Game 3? They did not get it done in crunch time. He's getting taunted by Nuggets fans walking off the floor. What did he do? He had a big smile, and he talked about he knows he gets another chance. That, he gets to prove himself the next game. The way that they've played down the stretch in these last couple games, especially with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like, the guy is cool. He's confident. And, Caruso today talked about the unwavering trust that they have in Shai to close these games out. But it's a two-way street. Shai has shown trust in his teammates, moving the ball when it's appropriate. Think about the big shots Lou Dort hit last game, the big shot Jalen Williams hit. The game before, it's guys like Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace. So unwavering trust, that's a two-way street. That's what you've seen in these last couple games for the Thunder to be able to close them out.
Tim McMahon, our man in Denver for OKC against the Nuggets. Adios, amigo.
Adios.
All right, coming up, the WNBA season tips off tomorrow, Perk. So we'll look back at the best plays from last season, see what made the...
I missed it.
The 2025 WNBA season arrives tomorrow. But before we move on, let's revisit the top of the top, the best of the 2024 W season. Starting off, top dimes. Chelsea Gray with the tough pass to Asia Wilson.
Talking about threading the needle.
Look at that.
All through traffic.
Now, here we go. Angel Reese, touchdown to Cardoso.
Ain't nothing like a great outlet pass, especially when it's full court.
And finally, Caitlin Clark behind the back magic to Nalissa Smith.
Just special. On time, on target.
All right, next up, some big-time buckets. Kalia Copper with the corner three to win it for the Mercury.
That was crucial.
Look at that. So nice, we'll see it twice. Now to Indiana. This huge Caitlin Clark, almost logo three.
Man, pulled up with all the confidence in the world.
Another Fever versus Suns matchup here as Marina Mabrey sealed the playoff series for the win there for the Sun to eliminate the Fever. Next up, Perk, top unanimous MVP moments from Asia Wilson. 1 second left versus the Sky. You see the bucket right there.
Perfectly executed, soft hands, catching the rock, finishing in traffic, doing what MVPs do.
A buzzer beater. And then the moment where she made history, becoming the first WNBA player to reach 1,000 points in a season.
So underrated with her mid-range game. That midi is nice when it comes to Asia.
And lastly, top moments from the finals last season. Final seconds of game one, Courtney Williams with the dagger.
And one.
Yes, sir. Count it. And now in Minnesota for game three, Sabrina with the game winner from deep.
Never watching this game.
The Liberty would go on to win game 5 in overtime for their first championship in franchise history. The WNBA begins their 29th season Friday night. We'll have a pair of huge games for you Saturday on ABC, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. The defending champion Liberty host Asia Wilson and the Aces at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Then Caitlin Clark and the Fever host Angel Reese in the Sky. WNBA Countdown starts at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. All right, we welcome in Alexa Philippou, who will be covering the WNBA all season. This Saturday, you'll be on hand as the reigning champs get their rings at Barclays. How much anticipation is there surrounding the Liberty this season?
There's a ton of anticipation, George, to see if they can actually become one of the few franchises that have ever repeated. But for them, they're really interested in trying to treat this like a new season, a new journey, because they know how hard it is to just replicate that success. And I think you saw that in how they treated their offseason and the different players they brought in. And I want to highlight one in Natasha Cloud right now. Cloud is someone that the Liberty franchise had their eyes on really for some time now, but they didn't think she was going to be available this offseason because she was still under contract with the Phoenix Mercury. Lucky for the Liberty, Natasha Cloud was then traded to the Sun, and the Liberty were able to work out a trade to get her from Connecticut by sending 2 first-round picks to the Sun. But Liberty GM Jonathan Kolb really sees Cloud as a player who can amplify what the Liberty already do well, and that she's such a two-way force that can really pay dividends for them down the stretch in the playoffs when defense is more important than ever before. And really for them, they think that this is a player that really there's no potentially better backcourt partner to Sabrina Ionescu than Natasha Cloud. We saw some of that on Unrivaled when they played on the same team in Phantom. And so now we'll get to see what that pairing looks like. And that's one of the things I'm most excited to see when I'm at the game on Saturday.
Alexa, you mentioned GMs a moment ago and making deals. Well, the GM survey for the WNBA came out. Some interesting results. What stood out to you?
Well, one of the things that just around the league kind of stood out was that the Minnesota Lynx were really significantly favored to win the WNBA title. You see that there 60% of GMs thought that they will win. So that also means the majority of GMs don't think the Liberty will repeat. I think one of the things that we're seeing there is that there's some concern about the loss of a player like Benijah Laney Hamilton for the Liberty, who will miss the season due to a knee injury, such a huge part of their success and their grit and their identity. But it's also a testament to everything that the Lynx have done well. You'll also notice that 2/3 of the GMs thought that Nafisa Collier will be the MVP. Cheryl Reeves saying recently that she thinks Nafisa Collier is about to enter her prime, that we haven't even seen the best of her yet. And I think it's also a testament to the respect that Cheryl Reeves has around the league as head coach. There's no, shocker that she got basically swept all the coaching votes for the GM survey. And this is a league too that there's 7 new head coaches, 7 coaches that have never had that top position in the league before. And we're really seeing a combination of a great superstar player, of tenured with the most really successful coach. They're returning 85% of their scoring production. They also were voted to have the projected best defense. And I will say really quickly too, while we're talking about the present, the Fever weren't necessarily the top team to win it all this year, but you could look at the survey too. You see that they have a lot of projections that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with longer term with their young core and new coaches and everything there.
Yep, Stephanie White there now with the Fever. Alexa, thank you so much. Excellent information. We appreciate you joining us today on NBA Today. All right, it's time for Tunnel Walk, brought to you by JCPenney. Asia Wilson arriving to the Aces preseason game against the Mercury. Look at this, slow-mo perk.
That's how you pull up. That's how you show up and show out.
Got that fit right?
What that's a bent?
Yeah.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you like the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we notice that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.